Hello everybody, this is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to today's Critical Thought. But as always, just want to give you an update. At this moment, we still have not hit our monthly goal for Patreon. So, if you enjoy these videos and the rest of the content, please consider donating at the link below. And of course, share with your friends. But let's get to today's topic, and that is controversial games, or controversy in game design. Back in the old days, the most we had to worry about was games corrupting our children and turning them into violent monsters. Today, things have gone a lot more, spicy could be the lax way of putting it, with discussions of racism, sexism, misogyny, even religious issues, and a lot more. Over the last few years, we've seen greater discussions regarding sexism not just in game design, but with how women are treated in the game industry, leading to the rise of channels and such like Feminist Frequency, and a lot more. For today, I want to talk a little bit more about my thoughts on controversial topics in games, and using one of my few superpowers, I got a tangent-filled discussion that will hopefully make sense. I guess let's talk about our prop. This is the art book for Dragon's Crown. This was a game recently released on the PlayStation 3, I think it was last year, featuring some beautiful animation and art. And of course, the controversy was regarding its depiction of basically the female form, with women featuring body parts that were completely unrealistic. Now, of course, the game featured a lot of male characters, super masculine as well, but it was definitely seen as a game with a lot more of a leer towards women, especially with the NPCs. And when it was revealed about this, the developer kind of doubled down. I think the lead developer took a crack at a Gamasutra editor at the time for saying how uncomfortable he was with this depiction. And things kind of got bad from there. Having played the game and obviously owning it, it definitely leans more towards leering at women than it does men. But talking about Dragon's Crown is not the point of this topic or point of this video. Instead, I want to talk about how game developers deal with controversial topics. And if you've listened to the Perceptive podcast in the past, you may know what my thoughts are on this, but I'll reiterate it here. When I spoke with Ernest Adams, I think it was 2 years ago, we both got on the same, line about it. That neither of us believe in censorship in any way, shape, or form. It's your right to make whatever video game you want, whether it's a cute game about raising horses, to something like hatred, and probably more examples that are out there that I am not aware of. But we both agree that even though you are free to make these games, you have to be held accountable. And that part, held accountable, is what I've had trouble with properly phrasing, because what does that mean, to hold someone accountable for content that they make? And very recently, I think I figured out how to properly explain that. And it has to do with, here's where our tangents come in. As you know, yesterday, famous actor and comedy legend Gene Wilder passed away tragically. He was part of very memorable roles, including Willy Wonka and his part on Blazing Saddles. And keep Blazing Saddles in mind, I'll be coming back to that in a few minutes. And one of his legendary comedy duos was working with the great actor-director Mel Brooks, who's another actor I really enjoy. I've seen Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, History of the World, and a few more, and I know I've missed a lot. And there's an expression that Mel has used in the past that I like to use whenever we talk about controversial topics like this, and how they're displayed in media or games. And I'm going to paraphrase it, I think, here. He said something along the lines of, if you're going to go up to that bell, then you better ring that bell or not go up to it at all. And he was basically talking about his use of controversial or polarizing topics and themes in his movies. Of course, in the producers, of course, it's based on having a musical called Springtime for Hitler. And there's Blazing Saddles, which chances are that movie would not be made today, and anyone who's seen it knows why. But going back to his point, what he meant is, if you're going to do something controversial or polarizing, then you need to commit fully to it. Don't half-ass it. Don't try and backpedal. If you're going to do it, do it. And we've seen a lot of developers fail on this front. You know, people go, oh, I didn't know women would be offended because our female characters have breasts the size of watermelons. Oh, I didn't know people were offended that we're going to have racist characters. How would I have known that? And you see this a lot with developers backpedaling. There's, of course, the infamous Grand Theft Auto, I think it was 3? Yeah, this was 3, San Andreas, with the hot coffee incident, when they accidentally left in a sex minigame. Basically, as someone who studied game design and talked to developers, you don't leave that stuff in. That would be incredibly stupid of them if they did. But again, when it was announced and people were starting to get offended, they just, went in full backpedal control mode. We didn't mean to do that. It was never our intent to do that kind of gameplay in San Andreas. And you hear this a lot from developers. And this goes back to what Mel Brooks was saying. If you were going to do something controversial, you have to commit to it. That doesn't mean, saying, how dare you be offended, but saying, we're doing this. This is our decision. If you don't like it, fine. But this is our choice. Does it make it better? No. Does it make it less misogynistic or racist or anything like that? No. But it at least shows that the developer and the creator were willing to go that distance, and it's not seen as just a promotional stunt or them saying, hey, look at us, we're trying to be edgy and racist and all that stuff. And that's how some of the best comedies and some of the most interesting pieces of media are created. Like I said, with Blazing Saddles. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, you know what was so polarizing about it. And again, it worked because they committed fully to that theme and to what they were trying to do. And as another example, that's even another strange tangent we'll talk about, there's of course the great animated series Rick and Morty right now. And something like Rick and Morty, that would have never have been made 10, 15 years ago. Just a very mature, very insane show. And what's brilliant about it is that, again, whatever they're going to do, they're going to take it as far as they can. Whether it's the end of the world, time travel, multiple dimensions, anything you can think of, any part of their, a topic of the show, Rick and Morty, they're going to go all the way. They're going to ring that bell. Is it mature? Yes. Is it going to put people off? Definitely. But the developer or the creator's willingness to push those envelopes helps it stand apart from, again, when you see people just trying to get a cheap laugh, or again saying we didn't mean to do it and stuff like that. And we can even go back further with other examples. South Park being another good one. I don't know if I would consider myself a fan of South Park. I've watched it on and off throughout the years, but the one thing about the series is, again, they will not pull their punches on these topics. They will take them as far and as disturbing as they want. Does it rub people the wrong way? Definitely. Have people call for it to be boycott and refuse to watch it? Definitely. But the fact that they are willing to go that far, and again, not try and walk back from it, means that you expect this kind of thing from them, and you expect it to be more than just these cheap hits and this gross out humor. Now, sometimes being all about gross out humor and extreme content can also work. There's the cult film studio Troma, who have made so many crazy ultra-violent movies like The Toxic Avenger, and I'm afraid that's the only one that comes to my mind. And again, they do not pull their punches. They don't say, oh, we didn't mean to do that, we're sorry you're offended. They basically just come out and say, we're doing this. If you don't like it, don't watch it, but, enjoy this insanity. And again, it's not about making it better or, calming people who call it being misogynistic, racist, sexist, whatever. It's about the creators fully committing to it and helping these controversial topics become elevated beyond just being, this is our token stunt. We're going to show violence, or we're going to say racist things, and, that's just our little thing. Like, it becomes a part of the content. And when it goes beyond that, it helps, I guess, legitimize it in a small sense. Again, that's the point of free speech. It's about being able to do what you want. It's about being able to put out content that you want, but at the same time, it doesn't remove it from being criticized. And again, there are people who've seen Blazing Saddles, and they probably turn it off within 20-30 minutes saying it's the worst piece of thing they've ever seen. And that is within their right. There are obviously racist themes of Blazing Saddles. You can't ignore that, just as there are sexist themes of the Dead or Alive series, or Dragon's Crown. But the point is that they are within their right to do that, just as with your right to criticize it. But when developers and people who make content try to walk away or distance themselves from their own works, it just renders them as nothing but cheap gimmicks. And it makes it harder for people who are trying to make something legitimate and having this as a major theme to stand out. And we are getting a little bit long, but I'll wrap this up quickly. It's one of the problems we see with games that are trying to do something interesting or something extreme with either male or female issues or violence against them. Because there are so many examples that are just cheap gimmicks, again, it becomes harder to stand out and prove that you're trying to do something different. Is it still sexist and violent and misogynistic and all that? Yes. But it can at least stand as a piece of art rather than something that's just used to get a rise out of the audience or to shock people for shock's sake. But this is a topic that is definitely too big to talk about in just one video. Excuse me. And again, we could spend probably another 20 minutes talking about it. If you have any other topics you'd like me to talk about in future Critical Thoughts, let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, we're going to wrap things up here. As I said at the start, if you enjoy the content and everything on Game Wisdom, please consider donating to the Patreon campaign. It can help keep things funded and allow me to support myself and my family while continuing to put out great content like this. So, thanks again for watching today's Critical Thought, and I will see you all next time. Take care. Thanks for watching the video, everybody. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, of course, share with your friends. It always helps out. Check out game-wisdom.com, where I examine the art and science of games. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer for the latest updates of new content. And be sure to check out our Patreon campaign. You can find us on Patreon under Game Wisdom if you would like to donate and help contribute to keeping Game Wisdom going. Your donations can not only give us the monthly funding we need to keep supporting ourselves, but if we can hit some goals, it will mean more great content for you, and there are some nifty little rewards there as well. Thanks again for watching this video, and be sure to tune into the next one real soon.